Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in and for choosing to spend some of your time with me. It's your girl, Milagros here, and during the month of April, we are talking about living large and in charge, right? And last week, I made a video talking about living large and what that means as an acronym. Living large is operating from a place of love. That's what the L stands for. Operating from a place of awareness. We're paying attention to what's happening here, out of our mouths, the decisions that we're making, and then we're making adjustments accordingly. Living large is about living from a place that's very real and honest about who we are and how we speak to other people, not just about ourselves, but in general, like operating from a place of honesty that's authentic and that's unapologetic, for real. Living large is about living from a place of gratitude where we appreciate where we are and where we're headed, because those two things are not mutually exclusive. They can exist at the same time. And living large is about living in a space of constant expansion where we're open to evolution, we're open to learning and growing, we're actively and intentionally seeking out knowledge, we're reading, things like that. So those are the things that large stands for, at least in my world, right? So when I say to someone I'm living large, it doesn't mean that I'm swimming in the dough, although it could. What it means is that I'm trying to, and I'm doing the work to operate from those 5 places as much as possible. This week is no different. So this week, one of the things that I realized is that a lot of times people are limited from operating from that large place, from that super sparkly everything place in their relationships because they make a lot of assumptions. I myself used to do this. So don't think I was born not making assumptions. Oh no, we are well programmed and trained to see someone else do something or hear someone else say something, and then we turn over here and we chit-chat and gossip about it rather than go over there and have conversations. We're not trained how to do that, generally speaking. Gossip is considered a way that people bond. Enough of that. That's not living large. That's not living from a place of love. That's not living from a place of expansion, right? And that's certainly not living from a place of gratitude or awareness or realness or honesty or any of those things, right? So we have to get better first and foremost at being aware of when we're making assumptions and then check ourselves. Okay, my assumptions about whatever anyone else says or does is simply based on my filters. And then what I'm doing is I'm imposing my stuff on them and saying that must mean X, Y, and Z because that's what that means for me. For real, that's what we do. When I realized that, a couple of years ago when I was going through this whole evolution, I was really learning how to love myself, and I came to this real epiphany about self-love and loving myself and what that meant. I realized that to the degree that we love ourselves, the opposite end of the spectrum is where we are when it comes to assumptions. So if you really love yourself and you're in a really healthy space mentally and emotionally when it comes to self-love, we don't make assumptions and we don't take things personal. What happens instead is that we find within ourselves the courage to do these 3 things. And so this is what I want you to do. I'm going to give you these 3 things, and then as much as possible, I want you to be intentional about practicing these 3 things, because not only does it solidify within you your need and desire, because you are physically craving your own love, right? We think that we need it from out here, but that's not real nor sustainable. We need it from in here. And then the more that we strengthen that, the less we need it from out here, and the better we are at communicating and operating and living out here, right? Because everything starts here first. So here are the 3 things that I want you to practice that I've been practicing over these few years that have greatly increased my relationships and that have just made my life easier and lighter in general, right? This takes courage, especially if you're not used to practicing these. So take a deep breath. Okay, the first thing that we have to do is we have to be willing to ask for what we need. We have to be willing to be clear about what it is that we want and need. The people around us are not mind readers. I hear too many people say they should have known. Oh, because you told them already? Well, no. Because you were very clear about what it is that you needed? Well, no. Then how would they have known? They can only operate from their own filters. They are not mind readers. You have to have the conversation and let people know what you want and need. I suggest that we all get better at using the sandwich technique in order to do that, because I'm telling you what, I've been giving the sandwich technique to people all over the place in talks that I do at businesses with my personal one-on-one coaches, and people who are practicing it and using it regularly are all of them across the board are coming back and saying, whoa, this works. I know. I'm going to post a video here at the end. It's going to be somewhere up in here that's going to help you about the sandwich technique, because I already made a video about that to help explain it. But you want to start using that to ask for what you want and need, because we need to learn how to do that from a place of love and compassion. Okay. The second thing that I want you to do, take a deep breath, is to get better at asking clarifying questions. If someone says something and it makes you feel some kind of way, or you feel unsure, or you get this look on your face like, then you need to ask a clarifying or several clarifying questions. What did you mean by that? What does this mean? Why did you feel that way? You know, we have to get better at asking clarifying questions. We gather as much information as possible, and then we understand rather than assume. And in a space of understanding lives love, magic. Okay, and then the third thing that I want you to do, everybody take a deep breath. I want you to get better at just plain communicating, having conversations. It is so important that we have conversations and that we're willing to have open and honest and real conversations so that we can continue to get healthier and happier here, and then have healthier and happier relationships as well. Because then people know that you're going to ask clarifying questions. And what I realize is happening in my relationships from asking clarifying questions is that people just, rather than just make a blanket vague statement, I'm almost like teaching them to go into detail and to fully explain. And then when they do, they feel better. I feel better because now I fully understand them. They feel understood. You know, magic is happening. Love is happening, right? I'm going to give you a personal example. My daughter overheard something that someone said, and then she was really upset about that. So I talked her down, and I said, okay, we're not going to take this personal until I have some conversations. Like, it might be personal, but let's have some conversations. So I reached out to that person. We ended up having some conversations. I asked clarifying questions. I put communication all around this particular statement. And then there was so much that came out of that statement that if you just took it for that little nugget, it could have been really hurtful and painful. But when you just fill that statement and you really unpack it on both sides, oh, that's what you mean? Oh, this is what I'm doing. This is what you're doing. We have to be able to, 1, ask for what we need, 2, ask clarifying questions, and 3, put communication around these things. Assumptions, no more. We're practicing these 3 things instead. This is going to lead us to a healthier and happier relationships in general, which leads to a healthier and happier life. Right? That, my friends, is super sparkly everything. You're welcome. And I say you're welcome like tongue in cheek because I did it for myself first. I had to practice this regularly for myself first. And then I was like, okay, this is good stuff right here. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you know someone who can benefit from it, go ahead and share it. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I will post that video here about the sandwich technique for you. And head on over to my website, www.mariamilagros.net. Click the purple toolbar at the top of the page, and you can sign up for my weekly mailing list, which includes these videos and information about upcoming talks that I'm giving, discounts and deals if I'm doing seminars that I'm running and facilitating, and things like that. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and start to next week as well. And I hope that you're willing to take on this opportunity to grow and to expand and to show yourself and others more levels, deeper levels of love by asking for what you need very clearly, putting clarifying questions around topics that might seem vague or that might lead you to feel some kind of way, and communicating. Communicate. That's what I have for you, and I love you so much, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace!